Welcome gamers to Last Call Gaming, the gaming news show that keeps you up to date on all things happening in the world of video games. But guys, we like to give stuff away. We are currently giving away 2 copies to 2 winners of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the episode to see how you enter, see how you win. But as always guys, there's all that and more, so if you want to hang out, grab yourself a beer and let's talk games. Welcome gamers to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We are on episode 24. My name is Craig Perales, and the man that likes to drink a Joker while we're on set is Mandrew Montemayor.
That's courtesy of Dante. Thank you. Love.
It's a drink based on the movie that's currently out. So, hey, you know, I never thought I'd live to see that, but
maybe one day we'll talk about it.
Oh, hey, he's dropping hints. But guys, we are here to talk about the big kind of controversy that's happening over in Asia, more specifically China and Hong Kong, with what's recently going on with Blizzard. But before we get into that, we have to stress again, we're not here to stand on a soapbox and preach any type of political argument, right? That's not Andrew and I's job to do. We're here to talk about what's going on in the world of video games and what's happened thus far with video games. So take what we say, knowing that we're not saying what's happening over there is right or wrong. You know, that's a moral opinion that's not having to do with video games. We're here to talk about video games, right, Andrew?
Right, just the news. I mean, we have our own opinions of it that, you know, we were talking about before this, but I mean, that's, you know, I'm not here to preach to you.
So what's been going on, guys, is that Blizzard is finding itself in kind of a little bit of a fiasco. So
a lot of a fiasco.
So recently there was a Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament that was going on, that was streaming live. I believe it was the Asia East that was happening. So
the Grandmasters.
The Grandmasters, and what they do is when players are winning or as they win, they put on a live stream of who's, you know, kicking ass. And one player by the name of Blitz Chung popped on. He had on the gas mask, he had on the goggles, he popped them off, and he quickly said, liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age, right? So, because that is a big message that's going on over in Hong Kong right now. Now, what happened is he's now found himself suspended. He's now found himself, I don't want to say fined, but he's been stripped of all of his earnings so far.
$10,000.
And he's been suspended for a year. So this is where it gets...
And he was removed from the Grandmasters.
And he was removed, yeah. So this is where it gets dicey, because one of their main rules says, and I'll pop it up if I'm misquoting it, but Blizzard flat out says, do not use this platform to essentially shed us in a negative light or put us in a political forefront. So, thus him doing that, he suffered the consequences. And the consequences were, in the rules that everyone that's playing this knows, is suspension and money loss. Now, Andrew, you see this, and I see it of 2 ways. This could either be done appropriately, or this was maybe too harsh. How do you view that?
Well, I think before we get into that, I mean, for those of you who don't know, the reason it is a big thing right now is because Hong Kong is a part of China, but it's its own. It's got like a state name, and so it doesn't.
They're leaning towards a democracy.
Yeah, they're more. They're more democratic than communism, and so China is now trying to be, you know, be more involved with Hong Kong and the rules and get them more to adopt that Chinese lifestyle. And these other people who haven't been living like that, I think it's since like the 90s is when it kind of went like full more democracy, but still a part of China. And so they're not wanting to give that up. And so that's been like, there's been all kinds of riots and stuff like that. And so that's what this movement is about. And I think that, I mean,
which we're going to stay off topic of.
Yeah. Outside of morally, I mean, clearly I think it states it in the rules. It clearly says don't use us. We're giving you a spot to do an interview, whatever.
Make
you know,
money.
we're paying you to be here. We're flying you to be in. Don't, you know, abuse. Abuse is a hard word to say because of how we feel about it. But you know, don't go out and just make a political comment because it's already a hot topic. It's already a crazy thing. And it even said before that too that they asked him not to say anything about it, which he did. And again, that's what he believes. But
yeah, because he even stated in an interview that he was saying that he felt it was his duty to say something about the issue, that him being suspended, he loses about 4 years of his life dedicated to this game where the Hong Kong could they're losing their lives. So I understand that he feels strongly about it, but the question remains is the way Blizzard react, was that appropriate? Was it too much to do that to strip him for a year? Was it too much to strip him of not only the earnings that he currently had won, but all the earnings I believe that he had for that entire year? Because what's happening is fans are reacting this in the way a fan would react, right? They're rooting for the home team of a fellow player, and they're promising boycotts.
Boycott Blizzard's a big thing.
I was looking it up. Yeah, Hearthstone sits on 100 million players, so I'm curious of how that would affect it. What else would Blizzard have done though? Because a lot of the controversy is they got their fingers in the Chinese cookie jar, where they're developing more and more games trying to break into that territory, and people are viewing it as, are they trying to make a buck and staying on China's good side by reacting too hard? I almost looked at it as they set an example out of this guy and just threw the book at him and saying, hey, you were warned. Do not say this on our platform. How do we make sure other people never do this again? This kid gets the hammer. That's one way to look at it.
I think it is definitely a money issue because they are a part of Activision.
They have a bottom line.
Yeah, and Activision is trying to get Call of Duty Mobile to go in China. So, I mean, the example that you have to look at, too, is like the NBA. I think was the coach for like the Houston Rockets or something like that. He started out just making a comment, like, I believe behind these people, liberate Hong Kong and so forth. He had the quote in there. And China stopped broadcasting just their games, and they said the NBA better do something about it. They didn't like what the NBA had to say about it, even though they said we don't stand behind this statement, but because there was no direct punishment or anything like that, a lot of Chinese outlets started to sever their ties with the NBA. They stopped broadcasting the NBA games, and that's a ton of money, which, I mean, just now, I would say over the past few years, I think it was just recently, we were able to get back into the Chinese market with video games, and so they're, trying to avoid that, but two, that would cost them a ton of money, but would it be that detrimental? Have they gained that much money from them to where they couldn't just let that slide and to take China's side is a different question, because I'm sure they've got a ton of money from them, but I don't know if they were getting that much before with the game systems not being there. So they could have afforded to take the loss if someone was like, hey, whatever. But is that going to cause company-wide layoffs? Is that going to cost a bunch of people who have nothing to do with it their jobs, because now they're losing this huge chunk of cash flow?
Yeah, because you can look at it abruptly as going, oh, they're siding with China and they want to make sure that the little man stays down, but look at it in terms of the long term. If China stopped doing development with them that develops more games and opens up more jobs, that's exactly, you're shutting down the growth, of a company that could aspire, more things and more innovative ideas out of that. But like Andrew's saying, like the NBA had that issue. That him saying that didn't violate any rules that the NBA had. And as an American, we have the amendment to say what we want to say and we have the freedom of speech. They do not. So that's kind of where that hiccup comes in, because it's like, well, where do you draw the line on that? Especially when they don't want to be involved on it. It's just weird to kind of put the political side of it out of the video game side of it.
Right, so because it's so intertwined. And I mean, just to say too, like, I don't give a fuck about it at CEO Activision. Those people have more money than fucking anything. Yeah. I'm thinking
I'll take a vacation on that dime.
Yeah, the person who's towing the company line, those people who are down the hole a lot more. Are these people all going to lose their jobs because Activision now didn't say anything about one person? But then again, that's the thing. Does this one statement too, like him getting on there and saying it on Blizzard, I don't know how big their thing is that really gonna help push, making it worldwide, that everyone's gonna be like, oh hey, China now, China's the bad guy. So like, is him making that statement actually helping?
You know what I was curious about? I was having a conversation with my buddy Casey Court. He's a big fan of WoW, big fan of Hearthstone, and I was talking with him about it. And I was just asking him, I'm like, well, is Blitzchung, is he a big name? Is he a celebrity in this community? And he was saying not so much, but like we were talking about this guy named Ostaka. He was a back-to-back world title winner. I'm curious, did it matter who said it? Like, what if it was like a face of this game? Would he have had the same consequences as somebody that maybe not as known as a Blitzchung? I'm curious if that would have been any different. If we had the face of Hearthstone saying that versus a player that's in the grand finals.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying. Like, does it matter that that's how big was he? How many people did this message reach?
How many people actually? How many? Because like they were saying, like Borderlands, when that was going to get boycotted, it wasn't. Does the boycott lend itself to this game? Are people actually going to stop playing Blizzard games?
Even still, does this lend itself to Activision as well too? Because it's Activision Blizzard. You know, are people not going to go buy Call of Duty now in support of this? I mean, even so, it's ranging more than that though too. Because actually, I found another article on there too that they had 2 American like streamers here that they're like
posted those signs.
Yeah, they're college students, and they had signs that said "Liberate Hong Kong" on there, and they shut that stream right down.
Yeah, real quick.
And so that's something that's not even in China though. So that's how you know that it's for sure a message that they don't want to piss off China for, you know, the money side of it.
And you gotta, if you didn't know this, you gotta make sure that you know this, that that Blizzard is actually part owned by China. In 2017, they bought shares. Currently, they sit at a 5% shareholder. So you got to know they also have investment in this company that's trying to, you know, not make China look in a bad light. So I mean, how does that board meeting look? How do you sit there and go when, you know, you got? I doubt they make big wig decisions, but
there was
they
actually
own something.
There's actually another company. I think it's Tencent who it is that they're owned by 45% of China, and they are saying, you know, we're not going to do a media blackout just because it's what China wants to do. We're not going to censor our media about them. So, I mean, they're taking that stance, but again, is that going to hurt them financially? And obviously, they're probably not as big they're a big company, but they're not Activision huge, who makes money fucking hand over fist, who probably could afford to take that loss.
Well, it's interesting because fans are going to be fans. Fans are going to react how we do, right? We've got memes. There's a ton of funny stuff going around.
South Park.
And boycotting things is something we have the right to do. I'm more curious, how did you find Irvine, California's Blizzard office when they did like the walkout? They did the picture with like the umbrellas. They put, did you hear about that? They put the paper over the statue part that, what was it? It was like the Call to Freedom stuff that they had. It was they covered up the Think Globally and the Every Value Matters sign because it's like, oh, you guys aren't becoming a company of the fans anymore. Right. You guys are leaning more towards a business standpoint, which they are a business. But I mean, how do you?
I mean, hopefully they don't lose their jobs over it. I mean, I think that's cool that they're willing to take that stance, and I mean I think that's cool. I mean, at least they're getting out there, they're getting their opinion out there, and those people are more in a position to make that sort of statement.
Have the flexibility of doing it without having harsh consequences.
Not even so much that, but the fact that they're walking out, now nothing's getting done. So whatever they do actually matters versus, you know, if I were to jump on a fucking stream and say like, oh, you know, fucking liberate Hong Kong, no one's going to listen to me. I'm a nobody versus all these people who actually fucking making this company run.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I guess it's kind of, this could be one of two things. This could either be the spark of something that's going to be bigger than it is in dealing with China things, or this could just be a quick blip on the radar and it happened and we're over it. I'm curious of what the next issue is going to be that we look back on this episode, this conversation, this topic, and go, hey, that started back in October 2019. You know,
right. Or is it going to snowball into something bigger, or is it just going to be one of those...
that's the scary thing.
The NBA is on hiatus until January, and then we'll let him back
in. Because, I mean, we got to keep in mind that China is a huge market, and they're getting involved in games. So, like, that, you're not stopping that. That's happening. It's just, are we going to bow down and, like, is Blizzard, you know, our company's going to take a knee when China says something in reactionary first, you know, to a player. So, it's these little things I think they're going to kind of be the X on maps of when things started or stopped, because it's either going to stop now or we're going to see something in the future and it's going to mimic it.
I think if it's going to be a blip, then it's not really going to matter. But if more and more companies actually stand up and, you know, put their money where their mouth is, you know, like, fuck that. You know, we're not going to support China's statement or whatever. If they're going to sell our shit, they're going to sell our shit. And if not, then yeah, everyone's going to look back and Activision are the assholes. But if not, then they're like, oh, what was Activision supposed to do? They're a business. So it's going to be however the future is, and where they always say the history is written by the winner.
Yeah.
So whether China wins out on this,
right, we're early in the runnings to see how this falls out. But it is, I mean, I love that Andrew wanted to make this a big story because it is big news. I mean, this is something that affects not just our day-to-day gaming life. This affects the streamers we watch, the guys that we promote, the people we want to be playing, making money. You know, do you use that platform as a segue into your personal opinion, or do you bite your tongue and you know, be a professional gamer? It's interesting that these things are starting to cross over, because gaming has always been neutral, right? We've made up our own rating board to keep government out of it, right? We've never wanted to be a part of something like that. Government or gaming, for the most part, regulates itself. So this is one of the biggest part in history where I would say gaming is finally meeting a corporate, a political crosshair, and we're just trying to figure out what's going on, right? Did this kid get a just sentence, or was it way over harshly punished? So I don't know.
Right, and again, I mean, it remains to be seen, and who knows, maybe they'll roll it back to, oh, damn it. I forgot to turn everything off.
I gotta do the NWO. But guys, let us, again, Andrew and I are trying to say anyone's right, anyone's wrong. Clearly, a moral opinion is different from our letting you guys know what's happening with video game news. So let us know what you guys think.
And again,
because having a conversation about it is completely different.
Right.
And a one-on-one.
And again, just to reiterate, too, I mean, we don't get political on the show at all, and that's not just a decision based on this. That's something we decide to do from the beginning. We're not afraid of offending anybody or anything like that. It's just, we're not in the best. I'm not the most informed person. And
we'll make the next YouTube show could be Last Call Politics, and we'll get fucking nutty on that thing. We'll jump in there and rip everybody apart. But as far as gaming goes, guys, we want to make sure you're aware of what's happening in the gaming community, and that's a big thing. So do yourself a favor, go on YouTube, jump online, read more into that, because it is bigger than what it sounds. So
yeah, it's at least a very interesting story.
Take an hour out of your day and look into it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add on that before we move on?
I don't think I really had anything else too much except for... No, I don't have anything.
Okay, so guys, we're going to move on to our next story, and that is revolving around Doom Eternal. Now, if any of you guys like video games, you like Doom, because Doom's a great game. So, and that's subjectively speaking. But guys, the coming off the big hit of their Doom 2016 game, Doom Eternal was supposed to be... It was showed in E3 of this summer, and it was scheduled for a 2019 release. So... id Software came out with a tweet, I believe this morning. We're on, what are we on? Today's October 10th. So this morning that came out, and they said that they're pushing, it was today or yesterday?
I think it was yesterday.
Okay, so maybe I'm wrong. So it's today or yesterday. But they came out saying that they're going to push the game back to March 20th, 2020. Now, their quote was
I like that they did it.
Yeah, the quote was saying that, hey, this game's not polished, this game's not up to snuff, it's not running at the speeds that we know you guys are used to.
We'll post it on here, and we're not going to quote it verbatim, but, it's not meeting our standards of what you're expecting.
But they had a couple of things they were going to say that kind of made up for it. They were going to say that if you pre-order Doom Eternal, you were going to get Doom 64 free just for pre-ordering the game. And that's every platform. That's going to be the PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Switch when it comes. Because the Switch didn't actually get a release date.
Yeah, it says on there specifically it's going to come day and date TBA. To PC, and
which is a bummer.
PC, Xbox, PS4, and then Switch is at a later date.
Because one of the cool things they were originally doing was, I believe this would have been one of the first couple games that they Xbox and PlayStation get it, Switch got it, which rarely happens. Generally, they get it first, and then it gets so
get the scraps.
It's a bummer for Switch that happened, but you do get the pre-order bonus, and they're introducing a mode called Invasion Mode.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, walk me through what that was.
So the Invasion Mode is what it. Amy just gave a brief description. It said you can be a demon and get summoned into another player's game. So the way I kind of look at it is almost like, did you play Watch Dogs 1?
Fuck, beat the shit out of Watch Dogs.
So like, did you play it online? Did you ever have anyone invade your world? And then you're trying to find out who it is? So pretty much you'll just invade someone else's world and attack them. So I mean, I'm sure it's a feature that you could turn off if you just want to run through it solo. But I mean, why not? I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty fun.
Because the way I was reading it or interpreting it was if Andrew's playing Doom and I look on and say, oh, Andrew's playing, I can jump into his game as a demon and go fuck with your shit, right? Which sounds awesome. It's a really cool concept.
I like, for one, that they're not going to be part of patch culture, because I mean that's so everybody now. We're going to put out a game half-baked now, and we'll just fix it later. We'll just fix it.
Oh, sorry. Update, patch. Oh, it was actually meant to come out in March. Like, they're giving you a game. They're admitting that, hey, this game's not ready. We are not going to sell you a $60 game for something that's $40 worth. Right. And I love that.
Yeah.
Who else did?
Yeah, there's that saying, what is it? A good game comes out once, or what? I forget what the saying goes.
I love it, though.
You know which one?
I'll remember.
Go ahead.
So,
what is that?
The big thing that I guess a lot of diehard fans and anyone that was kind of upset about the news was saying is, well, then what did we see at E3? Why did the E3 demo look so goddamn good to where we were all ready for it in 2019? That was what people are trying to wrap their heads around. They're like, well, what did we see then? What was actually fully developed and what wasn't? The other thing was Doom 64 also got pushed back to the same time frame, March 20th, 2020. What's taking a port of a game so long to get back into the fray of things? Because it can't be... I understand if Doom Eternal has issues, bugs, anything that's keeping it from being fully pushed out. But Doom 64 should be nothing more than a pull of old files and putting it on. So those are kind of the two things where fans are going, why is it happening later? Like, you're not giving me much outside of saying it's not ready.
So, it's actually from Shigeru Miyamoto.
Oh,
a delayed game is eventually good. A bad game is bad forever.
Ooh. God, can the guy do no wrong? Because, geez Louise.
What I would like to note, though, is that they did push to one of the busiest fucking times of the year, though.
Andrew was bringing this up earlier, and I did not realize that, Jesus Christ.
So, February 21st, which isn't even in March, it's just right there, though, is going to be The Last of Us 2, arguably one of the biggest games. But also, coming out in the same month of March, you have Final Fantasy VII, you have Watch Dogs Legion, you have Skull and Bones, which is that Ubisoft pirate game, and the same day and date, Animal Crossing comes out. So you already have a jam-packed fucking start of the year, and now they're just adding on to it, too.
But Andrew made an interesting point when we were off-camera talking.
They're grabbing different audiences.
Yeah, he was saying that is a game that is kind of hitting different. The closest one would be Last of Us 2, but they have, almost about a month buffer, 3 weeks of a buffer, where if you're playing these games hardcore to knock them out, you should theoretically be done.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot different than any of the other games, because this game is just breakneck speed, fast. But I mean, someone who's tired of, killing, whatever you kill in The Last of Us 2 could get tired of killing demons or whatever.
Right.
It's not going to be affected by Animal Crossing.
But the only thing I took away from this was I still haven't beaten the Doom 2016 one, so I look at this as a nice little, I get a couple extra months, get it off my list, and then I can look forward to it in March 2020. Andrew, anything else on Doom Eternal?
No, I don't have anything else for it. Looking forward to it, though.
Definitely looking forward to it, guys. So let us know if you thought it was a good idea that they pushed it back, a bad idea to push it back. Are you a Switch owner like CN and you wanted to play it there? It sucks that you don't get it when they originally said it, but you can't be mad at them that they want to give you the best product they can. I mean, honestly, what's there to be mad about?
I'll say right now that I probably wouldn't have... I've already got so many other games and such a big backlog that I probably wouldn't have gotten to this until later. And
yeah, I mean, sucks that they flooded March now with that.
Yeah, and it's going to be the same thing about that same time, though, maybe even a little bit worse. So
yeah, so March is definitely going to be... I'm looking forward to March because we're going to be covered with stories, but then as soon as, after, the couple months or so before E3...
Nice dry spell.
We're going to be fucking begging for stories, so...
I'm ready to move on to riffs if you don't got anything else.
Let me go first on this because this is an easy one to riff on. So, guys, we're going to riff, and starting off my riff is, to no shock or surprise, PlayStation came out with its official name. You want to guess what it was? For the new system.
No. What is it?
PlayStation 5. Shock nobody, right? Because, I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of it or anything, but it was I don't
know what anyone else ever thought it would be.
Yeah, I was reading some of these things like, oh, Sony announces official PS5. I'm like, what the fuck else did you think it was going to be? They're not Xbox. They're not going to name it a name that makes no sense in the the uniform version of their titles.
I hope it's called the Nextbox is what the next one.
Oh yeah, that's not bad, Drew. So PS5 is the official name, but they did say now holiday 2020. And correct me if I'm wrong. When one launched, wasn't it always a year before the other, and vice versa? These should technically be. Is that right? Am I right saying that?
What console-wise?
Yeah, when Xbox 360 came out before the PS3, and then or vice versa, and then the PS4 came out a year.
No, I think it was a month.
Is it a month? So there's most
the Xbox 360 I think came out a year before the PS3, but then when it switched to the one in PS4, it was a month difference.
So these are both coming out holiday 2020. So we're talking November, December-ish. But the main thing I want to take away with that is they're saying that they have these now adaptive R2, L2 triggers, which are supposed to focus more on when your character is reaching out and touching stuff, you'll get more of a centric feedback on it, which nothing wrong with new technology involving buttons. Yeah, buttons, who's got the button?
I just wonder how it'll feel, because I already hate the PS and any of the PlayStation controllers, because the Xbox one, it just feels so good, especially with that nice curve in it.
Yeah, it feels better this way when the other one's kind of more that way.
Yeah.
Well, cause yeah. So PS5 name, guys, holiday 2020, new triggers. So if you're looking forward to that, that is coming.
I'll say my riff is based off of his, and Sony might have given a compliment sandwich where we start off with good news, give you bad news, and then end with good news, because they actually had a bunch of layoffs over at Sony Interactive Entertainment of Europe, and they did that the same day that they announced the PlayStation 5 news. So maybe that...
Oh, it was the same day?
Yeah, it was the same day. So, I mean, they said, I'm sure there was no plans, really, but, I mean, it's a little too coincidental to... Here's a shit sandwich, like, just eat it, versus, all right, we're going to give you good, bad, good.
Yeah, that's harsh. They didn't say how many guys at all got laid off.
It just said, like, dozens. It didn't really say too much, but it is a part, it is something that they had announced before as part of their reorganization for how they're redoing their studios and stuff like that. I mean, it always sucks to see someone lose their jobs, and
it's a bummer.
Yeah, hopefully those people definitely land on their feet and find something good. So, best of luck to anyone who is affected by that.
Yeah, because nobody likes to hear layoffs, but
Connor Malone, if you work at Sony Europe, I'm sorry.
Malone, are you at Sony Europe? You little bastard.
He flies there every day.
Nice. My next riff, guys, is going to be a shameless plug. So Andrew and I also have another show called The Tops. This is a show where we do top 5, top 10 list of things. Haven't done it in a while, but we just came out with one that is the top 5 games to play during Halloween. So if you guys are looking to play games in the Halloween season during October, check that out. Just came out a couple days ago, and let us know what your top 5 list is.
My last one will be that Mike Ibarra tweeted that he is actually leaving Microsoft after he's been there for 20 years. He's the vice president of Xbox Live and Game Pass. And I'm sure you've seen him at like E3s or tons of like little events and stuff like that. He always comes out, says hi, gives lots of interviews. Always seemed like kind of a cool guy. And it seemed like it was on good terms. Microsoft said something back to him, thank you for all your support, this and that. And he just, it says, I'm excited to move on to my next great thing. So I think it's a little... kind of, I don't know, because I don't know what vice president of Xbox Live and Game Pass means, but you figure maybe someone like that would want to wait around and see what this next console is going to be like in the future of that landscape is before leaving. So
it is. Haven't we been seeing a lot of people kind of step away from positions in the last like 3, 4, 5 months?
Yeah,
it seems like every other week there's somebody stepping down from a position that's been there for 10, 20 years. And,
yeah, because Sean Layden just left PlayStation. I think there's someone else at Xbox. Yeah, I think there was someone else at Xbox who just left like not too long ago too. But I would have to look it up. I don't remember offhand. So
yeah. So best of luck to him. I mean, Game
I'm
Pass,
sure he's perfectly fine.
I'm wondering how much he actually had to influence Game Pass, or how much it's going to suffer without him.
Yeah. So I mean, that could be the thing. If he's that, I think he got promoted to that position in 2017, so it's only been like 2 years, but who knows, he could have been that driving force for a lot of good things like we've seen with Phil Spencer, who kind of really turned a sinking ship around.
Pioneering some stuff.
So either way, that's it, unless you don't have anything else, we do have that dinner we got to get to, so might as well keep this one a little shorter.
I have no riffs. So guys, let's move into the giveaway. So guys, we are giving away 2 copies of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now this is technically entry 5 into that. So what you can do is jump in, and you gotta make sure that you like the video, gotta make sure you subscribe, jump in the comments and leave hashtag Call of Duty Modern Warfare, hashtag COD, and if you can, leave the system of choice that you would like that on, because at the end of the giveaway, Andrew and I are gonna select names, we're gonna pull out 2 winners, 2 of you guys are gonna be able to win Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah, I think why not enter? Even if you don't care for the game,
friends, free game, family, tell your dad, tell your mom.
Yeah, do whatever you can to win. Either way, it's I would say too that, because actually I just talked my cousin into doing it the other day because he didn't do it, is turn on those notifications, because I actually turned on for mine, so that way I see when any video comes out and I know I can just go hit like, comment, whatever, and so he does it too and just adds it to the watch later.
The game comes out the 25th, correct?
26.
26. So
no, it is 25th. You're right.
25th. So today's the 10th. We have so you have next week's. Oh, sorry guys, this burps are sneaking up. So next week is an entry. Will be your last entry, because on the 24th, when we do the next the week after that, we're gonna announce the winner, guys. So make sure you enter, because the giveaway is almost over.
Yep.
So that is it, guys. So make sure, if you guys want to get a hold of us, get in contact with us, have any questions, want to submit us any questions we can read, send those to LastCallProductionz@gmail.com. Send it to Instagram at LastCallProductionz. Send it to Facebook at LastCallProductionz. Send it to Twitter at LastCallProductionz. And you can check out our audio-only podcast on Castbox.com if you're trying to work out in the morning, you got a long drive, a commute. pop it on. It it helps. So, guys, until next time, my name is Craig Perales, and that is Mandrew Montemayor. Cheers.
Cheersies. Yeah, they're shining like the liquor.
There was actually, when we went to see Joker, there was a trailer, and she's, these balloons are coming up, and she comes up and she smacks it with the hammer.
Oh, because
she's just like,
are they red?
Yeah, she's
yeah.
Like,
That was from
sick of clowns.
That was from the It trailer.
Okay, good, because that's what I was thinking of. Because right before that, they played the Addams Family trailer, which looked like dog shit.
The animated one or whatever.
She's like, Wednesday, what are you doing with the thing? Usually there's a clown on that. I'm like, oh, you guys are reaching. I don't like the way. I think Charlize Theron's doing the voice of Morticia. And I love Charlize Theron, but that whole movie sounds like dog shit. Oscar Isaac's in it, I think, and I don't like. I don't like the way any of it sounds.
I'm not gonna go out of my way to go see that.
I think Chloe Moretz might be Wednesday.
Who's Puxley?
Somebody forgettable. I'm not looking forward to it. It's just like
I'm not really looking forward to anything lately. Like,
what else is coming out? What else do we have?
Nothing.
What about the new Rambo?
I heard it sucks.
Who said that?
Actually, even the dude who fucking wrote...
Chinese guys fucking boycott in fucking Hong Kong?
No, everybody said the movie sucks, and even
Who's everybody? I didn't say it did.
Every outlet. Every real outlet. Doesn't matter if you give a score by a point or a half point.
Win's a win.
A 10's a 10.
Yeah,
and that movie is like a 4. Even the dude who fucking originally wrote Rambo and created the idea of Rambo and all that shit came out and tweeted, he's like, you know what? I'm so embarrassed that this is even attached to my fucking name and shit like that. I was like, oh, fuck. That's when I was like, man, that movie must be dog shit.